Hi everybody, I'm Jack and this is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me today. Just another hot day here in South Alabama, but I'm all good because I'm hydrated with watermelon juice and a meal of just mangoes. So I'm pretty good for the day, but I probably will have another 32 ounces of watermelon juice because I'm going to walk again this afternoon and I'm sweating more and more on these daily walks. But anyhow, today's subject is calories do count on a raw food diet. I do videos every day, so if you're not already subscribed to the channel, now's the time. Hit that subscribe button, please. Then click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. When it comes to the subject of weight loss, I always hear different things about weight loss. A lot of misconceptions about weight loss out there, maybe even more misconceptions on the raw food diet than in anywhere else. And to be honest with you, there's a lot of woo-woo and misinformation. There's a lot of woo-woo and misinformation in general on the raw food diet. Just too much. I need a little bit of that science backing it up. That's why I've always said I tend to do a lot of my research just on the people that are just plant-based, that are just vegan, and I extrapolate that over to the raw because we just don't have as much, in my opinion, good, solid information that's not opinion, that's not, like I say, woo-woo based. And then also too, I think a lot of people have this mentality, they ease into this mentality when they go vegan, when they go plant-based, and then when they go a little bit further, especially into raw vegan lifestyle, I'm eating vegan, I'm good. I've had, people that don't know much about the lifestyle. I remember in Costa Rica, a lot of times telling people or mentioning something about fat. Well, it's the good fat. In other words, like a lot of people have a concept that if we're eating vegan, if we're eating, whole plant foods, we can eat anything as much as we want, and calories don't count. There's some sort of magical alchemy in our body when we eat raw food, and calories don't count. And the people with this mentality, unless they just have that uber crazy metabolism or they just don't have much of an appetite, they gain weight or they don't lose weight. I've seen this in my life before, and I remember I can go back to one time last year. I think it was the early part of 2017 when I was still down on the mountain in Costa Rica. Now, I was eating crazy clean at the time. In fact, I think I was going through a period of about 3 or 4 weeks where I wasn't even adding any overt fat. But as I would, and I was most of the time I didn't have my shirt on, and I'd see myself in the mirror and I'm like, man, I'm getting a little bit soft here. I'm not even eating any fat. I'm eating super, super, super clean. What is up here? Well, it took me a while, and then I'm finally like, one day I'm like, oh, wait a minute. You're drinking 2.5 gallons of juice a week. That was back when I was buying all that, sugar cane juice. And I started looking, and in addition to what I was eating every day, I was drinking about 1/2 gallon of sugarcane juice a day. So I was gaining some weight and getting soft. What people get confused about when they think like, calories don't count on a raw food diet. There's not that many calories. In other words, is it the right way to say it? The raw food is not as calorically dense as what we ate before. So we have to eat a lot of this raw food, the fruits and vegetables, to fill ourselves up, or I do anyway. So almost like you can't eat enough, just good fruit. Like, what am I trying to say? Like, in other words, like I couldn't do that probably just eating my mangoes, watermelon juice, and bananas. And maybe a salad or and greens mixed in there. But, you start adding in the fat, which the calories go way, way up. Then, yes. So calories do count. And anybody that's trying to say calories don't count they've lost their mind. The best way, I think another thing that happens too, and I do want to say this, you don't have to be a fanatic about counting your calories. Most of the time, if you're just eating, most of the time, if you're eating enough to satisfy your needs, your appetite for your activity level, you are going to be okay. But yeah, if you start throwing a lot of fat in there, and that's where the problem comes in, because so many people, it's the good fat though. But anyhow, I'm not going to get off on the actual part of the fat about it. Calories are calories are calories. So, as I always say, what am I going to come back to? What am I going to loop back around to here? If you're not getting what you want out of this raw food diet, I mean, in other words, if you came to it, if you're not losing weight and that's your goal, if you're not, if your digestion's not improving, that's your goal. If your skin's not clearing up, whatever it is that you came to this raw food diet for, if you're not seeing that, if you're not getting those results, then there's only one thing you can do. You write down every piece of food and drink that you put in your mouth. You get that food journal. There's no questions. That's in black and white. That's irrefutable. And put down, get exact. I ate 4 bananas, or I ate this much of this, so you really know. And then all you got to do is come back. Now, I don't use Chronometer. A lot of people suggest that, and I imagine for a lot of people that is a great tool. And then, okay, if you're not getting the results you want, since we're talking about calories, we'll talk about it in relation to weight loss. If you're not getting the weight loss you want, write that stuff down in your food journal. If you don't believe me, do this. Write that stuff down in your food journal, and then go back later if you're not getting those results, and then go to Chronometer and plug some of that stuff into Chronometer and see how many calories exactly you're getting in a day. And you probably are going to be surprised. Now, I'm not trying to get too deep into this and too hard into the science with, yes, there's going to be some people, and that's just the body, whether it's metabolic damage, which I believe in metabolic damage, but not near as many people have metabolic damage as want to hide behind that excuse. Everybody that can't drop a few pounds or can't lose their weight, oh, I've got metabolic damage. But there are issues. There are issues that people have even when they are eating the right amount of calories for their body, even sometimes getting the right amount of exercise, where there's hormonal issues, there's thyroid issues. But once again, don't hide behind those things as an excuse. They exist, but they don't exist in the numbers that you would think hearing people talk. Everybody seems to have a problem with their metabolism that can't, these days. Everybody seems to have a problem with this, whereas some people do. I have to say that. You got to be politically correct. I have to say that over and over and over. Some people do, but if there's 10 people that are saying that, there's probably only 2 or 3 of them that actually that's what's going on there. So, yeah, I mean, don't try to get too mystical, magical out there with this lifestyle as far as all this, like I say, this woo-woo of calories don't count and this and that. We don't want to be obsessed with counting calories. I think that's the message that would be better put out there at times. We just want to eat, if we just make healthy choices, if we make the right choices, if we stay low fat, whole foods and raw vegan, if that's what you're trying to rock, then we're going to mostly be good. You don't have to be fanatic, and I'm never going to get into that kind of stuff, weighing things out and being, God, that would drive me insane. So yeah, you don't have to obsess over calories, but you just kind of have to be aware. And if calories are one of those, that's a word that just seems to bother people for some reason. Just kind of think of it in terms of, I never know. I don't know. I tell you how many calories I try to get, but I'm totally guesstimating. I think what it is after 6 years, I just understand the amount of food that I'm consuming. I don't need to put it into calories or this or that. It's just like I know how much food I'm taking in during the day, volume-wise. Don't know how many calories are assigned to this particular thing, but volume-wise. And I know roughly what those equate to in calories. So that's pretty much how I do. And, I don't obsess about calories. But like I say, I have had a few personal examples that led me to be like, okay, yeah, you do have to pay attention a little bit. Another little quick one, and then I'll be gone, is like gotten a kick one time where I was eating, you know, my normal day, and then I would have a little dessert every night. And it wasn't big, and it wasn't like I was putting bad stuff in there, but I was jumping in like I was having dessert almost every night. Wasn't a big dessert, wasn't like my full-on ice cream, you know, the 12 banana ice cream, but it was at least a good 500 or 600 calories, and I noticed that start to add up too. So they will add up, you know. You can't just woo-woo the calories away. So anyhow, this is just my opinion, just my 2 cents worth, what things I've found out, you know, working my way down this journey. And I hope some of them help you. I hope some of them give you something to maybe think about. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you all again tomorrow. Peace.